When you have a dispute about who is faster, what do? Well, typically, right, you're going to run a race. And when you do a race, as a young child, you predetermine a set distance. And so you're like, okay, we're going to go from the tree to the slide. And little do you understand that that means that you're defining the distance. We're going to call this like 100 meters. So it's going to be a very lengthy race today. Then person A and person B go, and whoever gets to the end first is considered the winner, right? And so what that means scientifically is that you both ran the same distance, but you each covered it in a different amount of time. And so if person A ran the race in 10 seconds, and person B ran the race in 20 seconds, then they did 10 meters per second, and person B did 5 meters per second, which means that person A was covering more meters every second, and that's why they were faster. Same distance in less time. So the other way to do this is very unusual, but we could say who's going to cover the most distance in a set time. And person A and person B both run for 30 seconds, and then we tell them to stop. And so they run, and after 30 seconds, they stop running, and then we measure how far they went in the same amount of time. If person A went 120 meters in 30 seconds and person B went 60 meters in 30 seconds, then we would say that A is faster because they went 4 meters per second, more distance in less time, and B went 2 meters per second, less distance. So when we talk about fast versus slow, we already have this sort of visceral understanding that a fast thing covers more or the same distance in less time, and a slow object covers the same or less distance in a longer period of time. So motion is defined as a change in position, which is kind of point A to point B. We measure that with a unit of distance. A lot of times that's going to be like in meters, but it could also be miles or kilometers or centimeters or what have you. Speed is the rate of change in position as compared to time. And so we take that distance and we look at how long it took you to cover that distance, and we break it into how much of a unit of distance did you cover every second. So we get like meters per second, or we could do miles per hour or centimeters per second. So a distance per time. And a velocity then is rate of change of position in the amount of time in a given direction. So velocities are usually going to contain some sort of direction measurement, like meters per second west. So what does a meter per second mean? It means how many meters, right? Here's a meter stick, are traveled in each second. So it's a mathematical rate measurement of motion. So let's say somebody ran 15 meters in 5 seconds. What we would do is take 15 meters divided by 5 seconds, and we would get 3 meters per second. What that tells us is that every 1 second they traveled 3 meters, right? So 1 second, 3 meters, 1 second, 3 meters, 1 second, 3 meters, 1 second, 3 meters, and 1 second, 3 meters. So they traveled for 5 seconds. Every second they went 3 meters. So then after 1 second, they had gone 3 meters, and 2 seconds, they went 6. And after 3 seconds, they went 9 meters, and after 4 seconds, they went 12 meters, and after 5 seconds, they went 15 meters. That's what meters per second means. It's just saying we're moving 3 meters every 1 second. Bo here is showing us what 1 meter per second looks like. Just a nice, calm, steady rate of travel. Now, if someone travels 4 meters per second, how far will they have gone after 5 seconds? Well, after the second, it'll be 8, and then 12, and then 16, and then 20 meters, because every 1 second, they travel 4 meters farther. So, speed is our meters covered in each second, and velocity is our speed in a given direction. So let's see if you can tell which one's which. 20 meters per second? That's right, it's a speed. How about 30 miles per hour east? That's got a direction, so it's a velocity. 3 kilometers per hour. Yep, that's a speed. And 2 centimeters per second north. That is a velocity. These things, though, even though there's that minor difference, are typically used pretty interchangeably. So if you hear somebody say velocity, a lot of times they're just asking for how fast was the thing traveling. But there is a difference between the two.